Everyone's name here begins with A, so fuck off.
That is very true.
That's true, yeah. We should tell. Yeah, we should tell Argo that this is the alliterative alliteration.
This is the Council of A. Actually, there's enough of us to form a pentagram.
Yes, the A pentagon.
God damn it. This game keeps like slowing me down and hiding my hood every time I walk like 500 meters. It's like,
imagine.
Achievement unlocked.
Which game?
That sounds
game
like okay.
Ah, okay, yeah.
The same game we've been talking about since you joined the call, No Man's Sky.
All Man's Sky.
Yeah, I'm gonna most likely talk about this thing where...
Panboy,
Well, you better start
where you
doing it
don't
now
play the
because we're recording. Welcome to episode 33 of Radio Rothingham.
the sudden recording.
The sudden recording. It's
Apparently,
out of fucking nowhere.
this totally not a torrent that I got from. I mean, I didn't get from a random person on Reddit. Not at all. It's totally not named No Man's Sky, including pre-order DLC.
The pre-order DLC is a little spaceship. It looks like looks a bit like an X-wing. In fact, it looks exactly like.
Aren't the spaceships supposed to be procedurally generated too? Like, what's the sense in that?
Well, it's your starting ship. You'll probably get rid of it within 15 minutes. I don't actually know about that.
Yes, you are still stuck on the planet, aren't you?
No, I took off the first planet.
Ah, good. Good on you.
Which will be named Astra for its toxic rain.
Ah, toxic rain. Do do do. Do. Toxic rain.
I am wondering if they intentionally start everyone off on a toxic planet, which slowly kills you. So, to add some urgency to
motivation.
Fuck off this planet before it burns my skin.
Yeah.
That's why you have the actors.
There was a lot of life on a planet that was, eternally acid raining.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't very nice.
It might have like I don't know, skin. Resilient skin.
Oh, yes, I would imagine animals living on an acid planet would need resilient skin. Or just skin that's made out of something that's not reactive.
Argon.
Solid gold skin.
Or diamond.
That sounds terrifying.
That reminds me of character from Mortal Kombat X.
Oh.
Yes.
Are you going to elaborate?
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's not Astra topic with the Astra, but.
I think it's called Mortal Kombat XL.
Are you good? Come on, tell us about this character.
Combat XL, so it's like a game that's not fatphobic, finally.
I can't remember the name of the character. He's like an elemental character where it's
always up to you.
Yeah. I think it's like downloadable content which changes the texture of his skin. And there's one texture based gold. Parts of your body is gold.
This reminds me of that time some person went on a ranty conversation with no goal.
Yeah.
That was me.
Just like a Family Guy joke out of nowhere. Doesn't go anywhere.
One time.
Yeah, okay, I get it. I suck at describing stuff. Okay.
I would rather not remember that one time in Family Guy. Actually, I would rather not remember any of the times in Family Guy.
I only watched that show in like the first season, and not because I lost interest in or I only watched like 10 episodes maybe. I wasn't particularly interested in the beginning.
I watched all the episodes that my classmate watched because I was at his place playing Skyrim.
Exactly.
But that's the thing about Family Guy. Most people these days don't even watch it. It's just sort of in the background. You're like in some frat house, you know. It's like, hey, dude, hey, bruh, did you see the new Family Guy? No, that's not right. Did you play the new Call of Duty, bruh? It's cool. It's got guns in it. No, bruh. I got myself some FIFA. I played some FIFA with my bros, bruh. Oh,
I don't think that's how frat houses work, because Call of Duty is only played by kids.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well,
Exactly, frat houses.
Yeah.
My point exactly. So yeah, while they're having the conversation, you have like Family Guy just playing in the background, just background noise. It's just playing there. No one's really watching it, but it's just sort of.
It depends. If they're having one of their parties, then they might even watch it.
Well, they might watch it, but only after consuming copious amounts of alcohol or LSD or some other illegal substance.
Or breed.
Well, depending on where you are.
Yes.
So it's just like with Radio Rothingham.
Yes.
Well, we don't consume illegal substances. I mean,
No, but the people.
No, if you want to watch it.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
And not nearly enough people drink anywhere near enough to actually enjoy that.
I think I'm more of a PCP person.
Mm-hmm.
And what drag are you?
Well, obviously, I'm all about the weed. I never did weed, but sure, that's a stereotype, right?
You aren't supposed to do it. You are supposed to smoke it.
Yeah.
Like you don't go every day on a wheat field and just lay in the wheat field and smoke all weed.
Oh yeah, weed is pretty much part of the Dutch landscape. Not that many people know it, but
Like in some places you have cornfields where you just go and take an ear of corn and eat it. And in Dutchland, you just take an ear of weed and smoke it.
Come on, did you ever see a picture of the Netherlands? It's like flat,
yes.
And just nothing but
just fields and fields of marijuana.
Exactly. And tulips.
Well, those marijuana fields are just multicolored. They're not tulips or anything. They're just really rainbow. It's like gay weed.
Gay.
Weed makes you gay.
More, you heard it here first.
Weed makes you gay.
Yeah, that's what it is. There's multiple patches, rainbow-colored weed. That's what it's not tulips. No. Gay weed.
Everything makes sense now.
Rainbow.
Everything makes sense now. So suddenly, I think, yeah, everything makes sense. Everything.
Yeah. I've just explained the Dutch culture for you.
It's
They
not
make
about
gay
tulips,
weed.
Yep. That's why we invest so many resources into cultivating them. There's nothing to do with them being pretty or anything. No, it's just
And every year, the Dutch gives gay weed to the Canadians.
Because apparently they, I don't know, did something in the war or something.
So is that why the concept of a fantastical being called a moose exists? Because all the Canadians are completely and utterly stoned off their face?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why all of them went to the hills in search for gold.
Oh.
All they found was bears.
Now it all makes sense. God, I've been...
Oh, God.
No, I was just gonna say I started playing this terrible game recently. Mm-hmm. It's old, although it's still an alpha, but that's the way games are now. They're old before they're even released.
It's always alpha.
So it was released in 2014, I think, in early access, and it's called Factorio.
Oh yeah, that's a Czech game. I'm sorry.
Oh, is it? It's like if you've ever played that. Oh shit! What's the name of it? God damn it! I'm as bad as Astra all of a sudden.
Screw you!
Space Chem. It's like Space Chem, except except instead of just building like 5 little factories to sort hydrogen atoms into an atomic bomb, you build an entire industrial factory complex using the same kind of mechanics.
Question. Space Game is that game with text-to-speech that everybody used to spam John Madden?
No,
that's Moonbase Alpha.
Madden.
Ew. No, Space Chem is a game where you set up a set of rails and logic gates to combine simple particles into more complex particles.
So sort of like Minecraft, but even more complicated.
Sure. Yes. So Factorio, you end up...
At least in Minecraft you do it by hand. You don't have to set up rails.
Yeah, no, in Factorio you can do it by hand in your inventory and make most stuff, but then you can build a gigantic industrial complex with everything from hectare spanning minefields. I mean literal mines, which you can dance around with minefields. And turrets, because the more pollution you produce with your factories, the more aggressive the enemies on the map become. Like you start off with a little drill, and you're chopping down a few trees, and you're digging up some ore by hand, and everyone's fine. Nobody's giving you any hassle. It's fine. You just have this little smelter, and it's okay. And then you have 20 smelters, and it's still okay. And then you have 50 smelteries and an industrial furnace and a rail yard going across the map, spewing smoke and radiation in every direction. And then they start to get a little upset.
Just a little bit.
I cannot imagine why.
And you can set the map size to infinite, so you can scale and scale and scale. The game was running perfectly fine with like 1,000 factories running, so I have no idea how scalable this game is, and at what point my 16 gigs of RAM and 12 processor threads will die. But I want to find out. Just because I couldn't imagine a game like this running in the 90s. It's just got so many moving parts all going at once. And it runs flawlessly so far. Right up till the point where I'm making too much pollution. The enemies come, they are too big, and my defensive turrets have basically no effect on them.
Aww.
Then I die. I haven't found a way to automate repairing the turrets. I automated putting ammo in the turrets, and I had like hundreds of bullets going into the turrets, and they just emptied into the enemy, and the constant supply of bullets I was giving them just wasn't enough.
You need more turrets and even more bullets. That's all can I tell you.
But yes, this game Factorio, it's good. It's relatively old by today's standards, but it's cool, and it will make you, if you like building big, huge, complex machines of interconnected parts, you'll enjoy it. It's 2D though, so it's it's flat graphics.
Mm-hmm. Also, since you mentioned 2014, do you know what I noticed that came out in 2014?
No.
A game that I would never think that would get a sequel. It was Age of Wonders 3.
Oh.
Yes, the second game in that series came out in like 2004 or 2003, and then nobody heard about it for 10 years. Like, what does it even do? It has no business existing, but it does. Which is kind of cool.
And is it a fun game whatsoever?
I don't know. I never quite got interested in Age of Wonders. It looked like Heroes clone to me. But, since Heroes these days is just a terrible, terrible, disgusting game.
Mm-hmm.
That's about Russian people.
Oh.
Russian people.
Yes, Russian people. Well, see, Artrix, once before, many years, upon a time, there was this company called New World Computing, another company called GDO, and they made and published the Heroes of Might and Magic series, and before that, Might and Magic series. And then they sort of went under, and even making the last Heroes 3D didn't help them. Actually, it ended up being hideous. They went under, and then Ubisoft bought them. And then Ubisoft was like, okay, we have this very old, very revered, very favorite franchise. What should we do? Oh yeah, we are going to put it into box and send the box to Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and then Heroes of Might and Magic 5 came out, and everybody had Russian names, and the world was completely rebooted, and everybody played it basically just because the cities were 3D and you could rotate them. And then the 6th Heroes came out, and it had no town screens. And then everybody lost interest in the game. And apparently there's a 7th one.
How can you have a Might and Magic game with no towns?
Exactly, it was just a screen where you could upgrade units and recruit units. No buildings. They added it in an expansion, not even in a patch.
It's just lame. Half the fun of RPGs is wandering around the towns and exploring them and finding that hidden shopkeeper.
No, that's Might and Magic. This is Heroes of Might and Magic.
Oh,
the strategy.
I see.
Where
I've never played it.
Where it was half of the game sitting in your town and upgrading it and being happy with how good it looks.
So you have to build towns.
Yes, exactly. And then you go around the map in turn-based strategy and killing monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then, Russians took it and made it all Russian, and then 3 different development studios took it and made it terrible, and then one of those studios took it again and made it, I don't know, actually. You know how you know it's a quality game is that the rebooted world was in the 5, and then 6 was a prequel of that, and then 7 was prequel of 6. Yeah.
Okay. That's some shitty ass backwards lore building.
It is.
Like, why could nobody in the game think of what would come next after the events of the previous game?
Probably not.
Usually you set up a storyline so that you can continue it later if you're intending to make a franchise.
They kind of build upon it in the expansion, and then they were like, fuck it, now it's 700 years earlier. So yeah, that happened.
That's just silly.
Also, they did release some new Might and Magic games, but I paid no attention to that because basically from the time it stopped being sci-fi, it stopped being interesting. Like, remember in the earlier games like Might and Magic 5, where you had demons, and then in half of the game you realized the demons were aliens, and there were laser guns and terraformers.
Of course. I always loved the sci-fi twist on fantasy games. Actually, that was in basically all the fantasy games based in the 80s and 90s. If you ever played Ultima, you get near the end and all of a sudden, oh, wait, spaceships? What?
Or Albion, where you start on a spaceship, then you end up in a medieval planet, and then suddenly spaceships again.
Or The Lost Vikings, where you're just chilling out and suddenly you're abducted by aliens. What?
Yeah, that's how games used to be. So I do kind of appreciate their attempt to... See, when they made the Russian Heroes, the Heroes 5, they didn't resurrect Might and Magic as in continuation by number. They made Dark Mesa or Might of Magic. And that was a game that was made by Arcane.
Yeah, that was a decent game.
It was a pretty decent game. I mean, it's a game made by Arcane. They made only 3 games so far, but all of them are good. Which is okay.
That's a pretty good record.
Exactly. 3 games in 10 years, and all of them are good. And now they are making Dishonored 2, which I hope will be good. Because I don't like franchises much, and because Assassin's Creed. And they are also making Prey 2, which has nothing to do with Prey 1, by the way.
That doesn't make any sense.
If you remember Prey 1.
So is Prey 2, isn't it just a reboot?
Yeah, basically, but it's called Prey 2.
Oh.
In Prey 1, you were an Indian, as in American native Indian.
Yeah,
and you were in a bar, and suddenly the roof of the bar flew off, and then were aliens and kidnapped everybody and then used them as a fuel in their ship. And all their weapons were organic, and they had portals before Portal was released, and it was actually a good game. I liked it.
Delicious. It had a bit of a Turok feel to it. You know, you were a Native American being guided by your spirit guide and abducted by aliens for some reason.
Actually, that's true.
The only thing missing from a Turok plot was the dinosaurs.
Yeah, well, they didn't put in the dinosaurs, they put in the portals, which were kind of crazy. You had a box, and there was a small-scale model of a planet. Then there was a portal next to it. You went to the portal, and you were in the box on the planet. And suddenly enemies.
Yeah, I remember that bit. I need to play that game again.
That was pretty cool. I think...
And you were in the tiny box, looking out at the full-sized aliens.
Yes!
You were an inch tall.
I remember that. It was fun. It had better portals than Portal, and it came before the Portal. Unfortunately, nobody noticed because it didn't have Portal in the name and was made by Valve.
Oh no, Prey was noticed. It was pretty popular when it was out because it had that bizarre gravity mechanic where you could run up the walls as well.
That's true, but
that's what people made. That's what people made the biggest deal of. It did. It became Mario Galaxy.
Yes, it had the unfortunate decision to come out before memes.
Dank memes.
Yeah, if it came out in the era of memes, it would have lasted.
I'm pretty sure memes have been around forever, bro.
Yeah, but back then they were called macros.
Mm-hmm. Before that, they were just
macros. It is kind of funny how that shit changes. In before war never changes.
No, war has changed. Snake from Metal Snake.
Yeah, but I was quoting the Fallout.
I
so
know,
I guess, yeah.
But I always quote Snake when somebody quotes that.
Okay, cool.
But
anyways, let's try and change the topic a bit because something happened to me today and it was very annoying, and I'm sure more than one person on the planet has experienced the same thing.
Did you run out of milk? Sex at you?
The what now?
Did you?
Shut up! Let the man speak.
Panboy, come on.
Continue your anecdote, Artrix. You have killed our jokes.
Yeah. So I was just getting ready to record today's episode, right? I was like, okay, I'm just gonna turn on my computer and it's gonna be all peachy. And then it was like, yeah, the computer was like, I'm installing an update. I was like, okay, well, that makes sense, since it did say that it was going to do an update. So it was probably just one of those small updates that it does every once in a while. But then just kept updating, and I was getting kind of annoyed because it was taking its sweet time. It was also telling me it was going to take its sweet time because it was like, yeah, this will take a while. So it was like, WTF, mate, this is gonna take a long time. So basically, I waited for an hour, and then the computer finally finished the update. So the point is that Microsoft apparently thinks it's a good idea to roll out this huge update and not tell the users about it. It's like, hey, I'm just gonna run this update here, okay?
Artrix, have you been living under two rocks?
No.
It's been very heavily publicized that there was a big update coming in August. Everyone knew about it.
It's called the anniversary update, and it makes your Windows not work.
Mm-hmm. It's the biggest update to Windows 10 since Windows 10.
Marvelous.
Wait, is that the update which stops updating Windows 7 users saying, hey, let's use Windows 10?
What?
No,
yes.
No.
Well, no, that happened a week ago, or a month ago.
They stopped doing that for free on the 29th, 28th.
Of last month.
No, the 29th, but it ended on midnight Hawaiian time.
Okay.
Hawaiian time. Aloha.
Back was waiting for that hour to celebrate.
I'm free! Oh my god! It feels so
Finally.
good to breathe again.
Of course.
Artrix, you sounded like the text-to-speech program. Finally. This is such a joyous occasion.
Finally, I can ever be free. Okay, I can do this shit.
Yeah, you do it by default, so don't worry.
Wessel's much better doing the Microsoft Sam voice.
Who doesn't set their schedule based on Hawaiian time? Like, really?
What is Hawaiian time? Like UTC minus 11 or something? That's.
I think
It
it's
might be.
I think it's
when
plus 12. So I think it's
Yeah.
basically the furthest you can get from GMT, which
Oh.
means
That's UTC minus 11. Because if you go one further, then you basically end up on the international dateline.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it is the latest time zone.
You would have wanted to timetable with you.
So it makes sense that you would use Hawaiian time because that means that is the longest possible length of time you can have, and say it's still the 28.
Ah.
Although it's basically 2 days later for everyone else. Hawaiians live in the
Days
future,
later.
Yeah.
or is it the
No,
past?
they live in the past. They live way in the past.
In the future past.
I always get confused by time zones.
Hmm.
Oh, the most hilarious, stupid news. This is this. They've banned, how the fuck do you pronounce this? Burkinis in France.
Hey, what?
Burkinis?
Oh, it's like a burqa and a bikini.
Yes.
It's basically the Muslim's full body swimsuit. I don't understand.
Even the head covering. Really?
Yeah, including the head covering.
You don't understand the culture, Panboy.
I don't understand why these exist. I also don't understand why you would ban them.
Okay, I need to look this up.
Well,
Bikini.
I can see how these things are kind of gross when you're in a pool full of people and then this woman in this large garbage just swimming around.
Oh,
Just
wow,
it's like a
yeah.
fishing net, so there's probably mackerel in there and maybe some eel, and maybe dolphin if you're lucky.
Penis of the
So,
sea.
I'd be pretty worried if you actually catch a dolphin in there,
No,
because
they're not.
Yeah.
those
He would rape everybody.
It looks more like a woman wearing a sweatsuit than anything else.
Hmm.
I mean, they're not form-fitting, but they're not burkas. They're not like big flowing dressy things.
No, it's like to me, it looks like a nightgown with a hood.
Oh,
and
you
a
mean
hat.
but it's
Yeah.
still stupid.
Did
Yeah.
Artrix finish his thing?
No, I don't think he
What
did.
thing?
The thing
About
you
the
were talking
Windows.
about with the Windowses.
Well, basically, it's just okay. It updated. It took a long time. It was kind of
Yes,
silly.
I thought it was missing a point.
I mean, back in the time of Windows 7 and before, when there was like a big Surface Pack, because that's what they called them back then.
Back in 3 years ago.
When I was your age, I mean, we
Rate
didn't
that
have
pain
them.
higher.
We
In my day.
We didn't have them big updates. We had the Surface Packs, and before that, we didn't even have those. You had to go to the store and buy yourself a second edition.
15 miles away.
Well, the thing is, Artrix, this is not a service pack. This is anniversary update because it's anniversary.
it's
Right.
pretty much a reinstall of the system.
It's an excuse to cram your system with a lot of useless shit, some of
Well,
which is counterproductive, and mask it as an
Oh, no,
anniversary. So you want to.
no. It's got one amazing feature that I'm very and now you can't see it on the stream, but it's got one amazing feature that I'm very grateful for. You see,
I see.
what Microsoft decided to add to Windows 10 that everyone
Windows.
was asking for was
Hmm?
Go on.
clock on your second screen.
You're saying that
Total
like
gas.
it's a joke, but I was asking for this. I even sent them a message about it.
So
I was like-
desperate.
Dear Microsoft, where the fuck's my clock? Please put it back. Thanks very much. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, it's
In
very
fact-
useful because when I'm streaming, I want to know what time it is, and
Sincerely, a clock enthusiast.
It's
I-
literally one of the first things I noticed after installing Windows 10 is that there was no fucking clock on my second screen. I started dragging my main taskbar onto my other screen, but that was really annoying because then all the windows would open in the wrong place.
Well, it wouldn't affect me too much because I've only got one screen on my laptop. I have
What-
Windows 7 on my computer. So, yeah.
Yeah, of course it won't affect you. You don't have two screens. You're a scrub.
Ah, screw you.
Hey, not everybody has a graphics card with 3 fans.
I need to get graphics cards.
Panboy,
More
mine
fans.
only has 2.
You're living in the past.
I know.
Yeah, except the current generation has 2 fans and it's even better than the one with the 3 fans.
Oh, don't worry. I'll find one with 3 fans.
You'll see.
You'll all see.
Then Panboy showed it to everyone.
In fact, I saw a new heatsink design that had modular fans.
Pam, you,
Oh
you
my
know that you
God.
can just duct tape an extra fan to your graphics card and just
Wait, did I show you the heatsink that had fan on a fan?
I think it was that one actually. That was the one with the modular fans.
Yeah.
But the clever thing there is fans get broke, and it's a pain in the ass to swap them on a heatsink. So making them modular, as soon as they start getting that noise, the noise.
Yes.
The noise.
The noise,
You
indeed.
can just pop it off and pop on a fresh one. And if they keep up the modular design with their future graphics cards and keep the same fans, or different fans but fit in the same slots, great. Then you could just buy a stock of fans and swap them. It's amazing. All these fans. Such new
Panboy,
technology.
Panboy, no one.
Could you say you're a fan?
No one,
Oh, yeah.
no one specified that the fans need to be working. I mean, it's about the number of fans. So you just buy a bunch of, I don't know, 160mm fans. Just pay. No, that's pretty.
I have seen a case made out of fans.
Just nothing but fans.
Yep. It wasn't terribly effective, I imagine.
Well, it basically becomes one of those quadcopters, except it's got it's nothing but wings, so it'll basically fly all over the place.
It can fly in every direction.
It
Are
will,
you
it can fly
saying-
in all 8 directions.
I should attach a quadcopter to the side of my computer as a fan.
Yes, you can.
And should.
I think we finally found a use for these otherwise useless devices.
Don't be ridiculous, Artrix. They're great for flying into your neighbor's window and taking candid photographs. I mean, exploring nature's beauty.
Yes, actually, we're doing another Radio Rothingham.
Yeah, but you need to make an announcement for next week as well.
Okay. So here it goes. So yeah, since no one watches Radio Rothingham anyways, I don't think anyone's going.
I
to
do
actually-
sometimes.
Well,
Sometime.
I think we all do at times. I guess maybe I don't know.
I've never once opened our videos, not even to check if there was comments,
Okay. Well,
because there
anyways.
isn't any. They get like 6 views.
I did once to
Okay.
hear how witty I am.
Secular going to
I
Austria
am-
is vaguely relevant to what I'm going to say because
Oh,
Yeah.
next
Australia,
week,
what?
as a matter of fact, in 3 days' time, we will.
Yeah.
Well, most of us will be heading to France.
Ugh.
France.
I feel dirty just thinking about it.
Oh yeah, but you're British, so that's a natural
British.
reaction.
France.
Everybody's natural reaction. Ugh.
No, except for me, because I'm 2% French.
Ugh.
I mean,
This,
I'll go
that
to
doesn't
the
make it better.
I'll go to the reception desk and like my name is La
French.
and they're like, oh yeah, you're good. Well,
And then-
no.
And then they'll be like, "Oh, that's pretty lame, bro." I just like,
I have a
but-
French name.
but French people are
Oh,
supposed
you.
to appreciate it.
Well,
Do
yeah,
they?
but then they're like, yeah, but you're in lame country now.
Such shame. Many
Or-
said.
Or you'll get a foreign exchange student who's working the till, and he'll speak English and only broken French, so he'll be like, you
Omelette du fromage? Non, non, non.
All fromage.
I made to return my USB drive. It's not working. Omelette du fromage.
USB fromage.
Oh, it's working. It's working. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. You're the best tech support ever.
And he does a French kiss on both. Mwah. Mwah.
Of course he will.
Of course.
Of course.
because that's exactly how people in France act. Every random person they meet, they just run up to them and double face kiss.
Well, yeah, that they have like 30 seconds left before somebody blows them up or shoots them or drives them over with a truck, so they have to act swiftly.
Hmm. Anyway, that announcement you were gonna make.
That
Oh,
was
yeah.
an announcement.
That was the announcement.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. I think you're gonna
He's
elaborate a bit more.
he's going to kiss French people.
Basically, everyone except for Xaverius will be going to France, and we'll see what life is like in the French nation of France, which is also
Exactly.
French.
I imagine the same like here, but with more Frenchness.
Yeah, basically.
Do you think they live in houses?
Yeah, but we'll be sleeping in a tent. So
Best
yeah.
house of them all.
Just in case,
Exactly.
because those houses were built by French.
Exactly.
yeah, exactly. We don't
We don't
French-
trust French construction.
They are half made of
especially-
baguettes.
Especially Bakphoon, you know, since he's German, it's just like I don't trust the structural integrity of the building.
The building.
We must test this building structure by destroying important structural elements and see how well it handles.
Well, that's how you test buildings.
I was like, okay, so we've built this skyscraper. Now, how do you think it would handle if a 40-ton truck drove into that pillar?
Well,
So,
that's
well,
oddly
it would probably-
relevant. That's
would-
oddly relevant to France right now.
Was there another truck attack?
No, but you know,
Was there a skyscraper attack?
well, you may have given someone an idea, Panboy.
Did somebody attack people with a skyscraper?
I'll be perfectly honest with you. Very large trucks have very little effect on ramming into the bottom of skyscrapers.
No,
There's
they
just-
don't.
There's just so much energy stored in the weight of those pillars. Like, it would take more than
Yeah.
just a truck to even make it wobble.
It would take a plane.
Yes, it would.
They
And-
don't
but not
probably
the
even take two planes, but you know, you'd also need two buildings.
Yeah. Also, it would
If-
need some jet fuel, or would it?
Yeah, but it needs to be very special jet fuel because otherwise it can't melt steel beams.
Doesn't matter. Aluminium.
Or can it?
Well,
Look, an aluminium fire will easily smelt steel beams. And you know what airplanes are made of?
paper.
No, they're made of aluminium.
Oh, for a moment I thought they were made of paper mache because it's really lightweight
And you know how you can start aluminium on fire?
You punch it. Wait, what?
Well, yes. You hit it really, really hard. And then it just goes on fire. And it burns at 5,000 degrees. Which is plenty enough to, soften up steel.
just a little.
So there you go. Just so that combined with a jet fuel fire is probably more than enough temperature to melt anything.
But it was only an inside job.
Yes.
They rigged the entire building and no one noticed.
Mhm.
I mean, it takes entire demolition crew and meticulous calculations, and even then they get it wrong many times, but it was a perfect demolition.
Look, an entire 747 full of fuel and aluminium and potential momentum energy is a lot more powerful than most missiles. It just is. It's the whole idea that those were fake planes is an idiotic notion.
Look, I understand if you're like, look, the government, you know, they sort of ignored the planes. They were like, oh no, there are planes heading straight to the White House and the Pentagon and the everything. We must do something. And then the other guy's like, no, this is just an exercise. It's okay.
Well, they shot one of them down, so...
Yeah. They shot one of them down, but they kind of forgot about the others, you know.
And
Accidentally.
I don't really think so, because, you know, there's kind of some kind of issue, you know, like you have a plane full of kind of innocent people and you just shoot them down because they are heading in a certain direction.
Yes, no, that would be bad.
That would be bad, but... Okay. So hear me out.
Yes, especially in like a huge crowded area like Manhattan, for example. Yeah, that's a very good idea to shoot a plane over, you know, like an area where a lot of people live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
it's like almost like a crashing jet could cause significant damage to infrastructure. Who would have thought it?
Okay, but back.
In that case, you just need to shoot it so much that there's no crashing planes.
Okay, back. Here's one of the conspiracy theories going on.
Just a big fire explosion and very fine debris.
Yeah, explosions are a conspiracy. Like, do you notice that they're always burning? Like, how do you explain that? Can you explain that? I can explain that.
Artrix. You just said explain.
Yeah. I know exactly where explosion happens, so yeah.
Here's the thing. If those planes were actually loaded with as much explosives as what the conspiracy theorists like to suggest they were, they would have had much more yield. They would have been the size of Moabs, which, in case you don't know, is the mother of all bombs, which is a traditional explosive, which is as powerful as a small nuke.
Yeah, but the conspiracy isn't that the explosions were in the planes.
A lot of people have said that the planes were full of explosives and were basically flying missiles, which
that's fucking retarded.
It is retarded because a flying missile of that size would have a much larger yield. It wouldn't have just put a hole in the Twin Towers. It would have blown the top of them completely off.
You would probably put a hole in the Manhattan.
Of all the conspiracy theories, the most plausible is, okay, imagine you're the Bush administration and you're George Bush and you're basically crazy and you're like, okay, I want to start a war, but no one really feels like going to war. It's like, I'm tired, I don't feel like going to war. So what you do is you just wait and then there's an attack and you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna pretend this isn't happening. And also, I'm Dick Cheney. I'm just gonna go and send these planes far away. These fighter jets. I'm going to send them far away from New York because they're doing this exercise. Well, over there, far away from New York. And then there just happens to be an attack. Just happens. Well, whether that's grounded in reality or not, that makes a lot more sense than the whole, they rigged the entire building full of explosions and it was a controlled demolition and everyone was on it and no one noticed anything.
Yeah, why are we even talking about 9/11? That was over a decade ago.
Because Bush did it.
He probably did.
No, it was the Butler. The Butler did it, obviously.
It was hilarious.
It is pretty ironic right now that it's the Russians who are now, trying to invade Iraq to stop all the terrorist organizations that America created in order to stop Russia.
Right.
Yes.
This shit's getting confusing.
Okay. Let me break it down for you. Here's what happened, right? In the 1980s, communism. Okay? America, like, oh no, communism. Here, have some guns. And then the rise of the ISIS-like groups started. You know, the Taliban, everything else. It was like, because America funded and armed the Islamic people in the Middle East in order to stop the spread of communism, because the Russians were moving in. And now, 2 decades, 3 decades nearly later, or actually more, God, it's from the... But anyway, nearly 40 years later, the Russians are like, well, we don't much like these ISIS fellas, so we're going to bomb the shit out of them. It would have been lovely had they not risen to power, ever.
I like that part when everybody was like trying to wage war with ISIS, and then Russia was like, "We're gonna help you." Everybody else, "No, Russia, stay in Russia. We're gonna help you anyway." And then they bombed like 7 camps in the first week, and they actually hit them. And America was like, "What? These camps didn't even exist. How did you find?"
Well, you see,
then Russia was like, "Well, we looked at our radar, and that was the camps, and we threw bombs at them." And then America was like, "Well, how dare you bomb those innocent people?"
America seems to be fighting this war in a very bizarre and confusing way. And it's always baffled me since it started. They don't seem to be like going in to Iraq, Syria, and everywhere and being like, okay, there's ISIS people here, but we don't know where they are. And we're just going to listen to rumors until we find out where maybe some of them might be, and then send small little expeditions and see if we might find a cave, and then maybe bomb the shit out of that cave, and then say job's done and wander off. Whereas the Russians are going in on the ground with lots of people looking around and saying there's ISIS everywhere, bomb the fuck out of them.
Pretty much.
And then they proceed to bomb the fuck out of them. And then they are bombed. And all the fucks are gone. Out of them. Which reminds me of a news article I just read. British jihadi bride schoolgirl believed killed in airstrike. The Russians bombed the shit out of her.
Yes, they do.
They were like, there's jihadis in that building. Let's bomb it. And it was okay. She was British. But she was a fucking jihadi bride. She moved to Syria because of some delusion of, I'm going to join ISIS. It's going to be great. And then she probably got raped 100 times. Until the Russians bombed her.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. I mean, these women also seem to feel like it's their duty to create more soldiers. So that...
Well,
so, yeah.
they feel it's their duty before they start being raped all the time.
Exactly. So can you even call it rape if they're like, yeah, I'm gonna make more soldiers.
But the news article is a big sympathy piece, and it's all like, oh, she was trying to escape, she was trying to get back to Britain. You know, she didn't like how ISIS treated. No, it's
Guardian. Yeah. Oh,
it's RTE.
Okay. Well, I don't know how Guardian-like RTE is, but
Guardian is the best.
The RTE news tends to stay neutral in tone.
In tone.
That's a thing.
Yes. It's when you just try to present the facts. You know, you say this is the things that happened, but they're trying to explain that she was in fact trying to go home, and she felt a bit disillusioned with the notion that she went to Syria to do something, I don't know, and found it to not be very good.
It's just like, this isn't very fun. I thought it was gonna be cool and shit, but no. No. I'm just gonna go back to Britain where I can watch whatever soap opera is on TV in Britain. I don't know. I don't keep up with these soap operas.
I can't quite comprehend the mentality that comes from these girls or anyone in general. They're living, they're living a common middle class life in England. Sure, maybe you had a fight with your boyfriend. Maybe the main character in EastEnders had an affair with another main character, and that's upset you. And now you want to go fight for the liberty of some tyrannical oppressors in a country that you know very little about, except what you've seen on the news and played in Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm. Yes, these girls typically play Call of Duty, yes.
And I mean, that is a pretty well-informed stance for these people to come from. It's like, the only things I know about this country that I'm going to go fight for is it's full of terrorists, and every other video game from the 90s involves me going in and murdering those terrorists.
What can possibly go wrong?
This couldn't possibly be a bad place to go to.
Exactly. You have my full support.
It does, really, really help highlight the point that no matter how many video games Americans make about invading the Middle East and winning, it's a fantasy that they have never done. Oh God, America are so bad at war.
So yeah, we're going to France.
Yes, exactly.
That started this whole conversation.
Well, America didn't try to free France because France has no oil. So hey.
But yeah, and it was a French article about the whole clothing thing.
You noticed like America never tried to, I don't know, introduce freedom to Zimbabwe or Rwanda or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're always introducing freedom to the countries that are actually quite well off, and when there's freedom, the countries are on the level of Rwanda or Uganda.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that works somehow.
Well, see, that the real problem with America's plans to liberate all these countries is they have no follow-up. So they go in, they find someone they don't like, they say, hey, we don't like you, and then shoot them, and then they leave. And then someone else who said, that guy was my friend, rallies the troops and says, let's find America and make it not happy. You gotta follow up on your invasions. You need to send in a permanent government. You need to.
Isn't that the thing about the U.S. Military, that it's a great invasion army, but the moment it needs to occupy, it's fucking.
Well, if they occupy, they would create a colony, and that's bad.
Yeah, no, they really do need to colonize these countries, not just poke them.
This is essentially what's happening. They're like, yeah, this is ours now, but just for little bits.
Well, see, what they supposedly do is they create a diplomatic relationship with a group in the country whose ideals they agree with, then say, we're going to dispose the power of the people who are currently in power, then you go in and take power, and then you and us are friends. And then you get Saddam Hussein.
And then you're going to remove Saddam, because then you're like, yeah, I don't like you guy, I don't like you anymore.
And then you get the Taliban. And then after you deal with them, you get ISIS.
Yeah. So I don't think America directly funded anyone in ISIS. I mean, they helped Hussein. They helped, what was his name? Obama bin Laden. And I don't think they funded anyone in ISIS.
No, Turkey's funding ISIS. Turkey's like, oh, this worked so well for the Americans. We should do it.
ISIS was mostly like, okay, there are all these guns from all the other terrorists. Let's steal some of the guns and, yeah. Hey, here's Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
All right, maybe we should try and I do know that Astra had a topic, or at least we decided that she had a topic. So Xaverius, do you think?
Oh, jeez.
It's the Astra time with Astra.
Well, there you go. It's the Astra time. And today's topic is, well, I think Astra is actually going to tell herself. So go ahead.
This is my topic for today. I hate this. I really do.
No,
I hate you guys. I really do hate you guys.
Well, you don't
Making me
hate us
talk.
enough. No, Astra, you had this great anecdotal
I
story
know.
about how you were just chilling at home, just
Yeah, well-
doing whatever it is an Astra does, and then you got a phone call.
Yeah. Yeah, as you're saying, I was chilling at home before going to work, and I got a phone call on the house number.
Oh my god.
I know, right? And there's a call center in the background, so I instantly knew some kind of selling crap or
Telemarketing.
telemarket, like we'll sell you with Windows, PPI. You've been involved in an accident recently. We can help you sue the cunts. No, it wasn't any of those actually. It was your computer has been compromised with a virus, and we are here from Microsoft to help you get rid of this computer. However, we need access to your computer for this to happen.
We're gonna help you to get rid of this computer.
Was this your first one of these, Astra?
It was my first. I've been watching videos of these, but I didn't think it would happen to me. But it did happen. Anyway,
I was told it happens to other persons.
I really wanted to elaborate on the phone call. I really did, but I just didn't have the time. It was like an hour before shift. I needed to get out more or less within the next 10 minutes. So I just asked generic questions. How did you get my number? She said that it was this list. I said, well, it's X directory. It shouldn't be on this list.
Oh, Astra, you don't understand how these lists happen. I understand how these lists happen.
So how do these lists happen?
Anytime you phone a company, they record your phone number.
Mm-hmm.
All
And
the
then-
companies.
And then they sell them on for.
Oh, yes. They
Obviously
sell
they
them.
do. Which technically is illegal, but it happens.
Well, with nothing to stop it. I can't stop it.
No one can stop it.
No one can stop it.
Because, gathering things into a database when it's a phone number and maybe a name, that's not illegal of itself. But selling it, then you can buy 7 databases of different data, and then you can put them together, and now you have address and name and number and all that, and then you can filter that and get one specific person, which is illegal.
That's data mining. When you collect enough data from so many different places, you get complete profiles of people.
Yep.
And it's not very hard to do.
No.
You just need to correlate a lot of different bits.
That's why it's illegal.
Anyway, I asked number, said there's a list, and then I more or less outright said that I know this is a scam. I don't have a virus on my computer. Please don't waste my time. And then I couldn't hear exactly what she said because of all the background noise. It's like generic call center noise.
Hey, listen, lady. I don't have time. If you want to fuck me over, here's my credit number.
Yeah. Fuck me over without me doing anything, apart from giving you my number. She said something. I heard hacking. I thought, what? That's all I could hear, and I initially assumed she said something about I could hack your computer. I really do wish that my house had a recording, ability to record phone calls.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, because it would make an amusing listen to. But sadly, it weren't my mobile phone because that's automatically set up
You
for me
need
to
one of
record
those
numbers.
fancy machines from the 80s.
The funny thing is, as you said about the phone numbers, when you block your phone from showing up on other people, that doesn't really do anything.
No.
It's just a mask. The number is still there, so yeah.
Yeah, your phone is just sending the receiving phone a message that says, "Please don't display this number." It's not actually stopping the number from being transmitted in any way, because fundamentally the phone needs to know what the calling number is, or the phone functionality
Well, what I was
won't
trying
work.
to say is that I wanted to record the phone
Call, yeah.
phone call, not the phone number.
Oh, I understood. But
Okay.
I was referring to earlier when you asked how do people get your numbers when
Oh.
people block their numbers and stuff. Number blocking doesn't work.
Oh.
It doesn't stop anyone from getting your number ever, at all.
Anyway, I said go ahead, hack the computer, have my all my blessings to do so. I really didn't give a damn at the time.
And then she
because-
pulled the cord.
Yeah.
Oh,
Heck it
shit.
now.
I mean, the main piece, I don't know how they would even get access to the computer without me allowing them to. But I said, yeah, feel free to do whatever you want to do to my computer. You have my blessing. Even though that this computer is going to be off for the next 2 weeks. And yeah, both my computers will be off for the next 2 weeks. At the moment, I've seen no
Yes,
no
Astra.
hacking at all.
Astra. I
Obviously,
just
they're...
got the best first idea. I should, well, not me because they're never going to call me, but you or somebody should get a computer that has all the viruses, including Bonzibody, and when they call, just connect them to that computer.
pretty much just set up a honeypot for them.
Yeah.
You open
But
a
they get the
gigantic
virus.
floodgate to a wave of viruses directly into that computer.
Oh no, my computer is being flooded with all the viruses. How could this possibly happen?
It's actually quite amusing that this happened today. It's because a few days ago I'd watched a video of the guy who set up a virtual machine
Yeah.
during this call, and he completely just fucks around with the guy. He's like had pictures of cows on his screen. It makes up fake folders of porn.
Was that the same guy who pretended he doesn't know what basic stuff in Windows is?
I think it is the same guy. He's got a face camera as well as the streaming of the computer.
There was
So
also
he's showing his reaction on top of screwing about on the screen.
there was also that guy who had Linux and skinned it to look like Windows.
Gag.
It was also a lot of fun.
Yo, you without any actual links or suggestions of the names of these characters you guys are describing, they're going to be pretty hard and obnoxious to find.
Yeah.
It was a person on a Reddit.
A person on
On
wow.
a Reddit, not just
narrows it
Reddit,
down.
but just
Yeah.
anyone.
The Reddit, not a Reddit.
It was a Reddit, one of the random Reddits of the internet, Astra.
So
Oh.
Reddit/A,
Yes.
or is that adult? Am I going to go there and find nothing but porn? I better. I'll be
Probably.
very disappointed if I don't.
You can also go to what's the name of the site? Vote, but with OA as in goat, but instead of the G, it's a V. It's very clever because it's like.
Confusing me on so many levels.
I went to Reddit/A and all I found was a picture of an iceberg and a narwhal.
Oh,
That's not what I wanted. I wanted porn,
who are you?
not narwhals. Narwhals.
Well, that kind of reminds me of this channel. I think he's called Dugra9 or whatever. Who has this channel where he just purposely downloads this malware and just dissects them. He's like, yeah, the computer is now the virus now infecting all the files. So
Oh,
encrypted
talking about-
now.
Talking about infecting Artrix, you know what happened to the lady who has the company next to us that
No,
I
no.
sometimes do tech support for? Well, she was sending emails, and suddenly the email was not sent, and back came the Mailer Demon response that was in English, so she didn't know what the hell that is. So I came in and heroically translated it, and it said that there's a virus in the document she was sending. Then I googled it, and it was not a virus. It was even better. So turned out, after like at least 9 years of Windows and Microsoft Office, because the oldest one was 2007, it turns out that all these 9 years there was a hole in memory in the way the MS Office uses it, and it's been completely exploitable for these long 9 years.
Wow.
Of course. Well, you know, an exploit in a piece of software isn't an exploit till someone finds it.
Indeed. So, as a precaution, the mail server she was sending the mail to just blocked everything Microsoft Office.
What? It blocked all Office, like all Outlook.
She was sending a document. It was to Outlook, actually. She was sending a doc, and it wouldn't pass through. So I was just like, okay, well, it's Office, right? So I had the idea to just save it in RTF, and it worked.
Yeah, doc files can have macros in them, which can be used as viruses. RTFs don't.
Yeah.
Well, they can. You know, they can still be there.
For a minute, I thought sending it in a TXT, but she had formatting in there, so I had to improvise and use the format nobody ever uses.
Although it is pretty absurd for a mailing server to block all Office documents, considering Office is literally the most popular Office software in the planet.
Yeah, right. I know.
That's a bit backwards, bro.
She had LibreOffice on her computer, but there's like 97% chance the person she was sending it to would not be able to open it.
Well, but that's what PDFs are for. But then again, I'm asking someone to use PDF. Never mind. It's complicated.
They use a lot of PDFs. It was just this thing was say sort of ordered that had to be filled, and they do it via computer and try filling PDF via computer. That's like 7 new layers of awful.
You can do forms in PDF, but you know the one making the PDF needs to be competent.
Exactly. Artrix, these people are traders and office workers. They cannot do it in PDF.
They can't into PDF. They just
Adobe PDF Writer is not a standard part of your average Office suite. So yeah, people don't really deal with PDF.
Anything Adobe is not a standard part. Even the fucking Reader, and the new version of Reader is so confusing.
They really can't into designing Office software. I mean, Adobe is great at making things like, well, Photoshop. But PDF is, for most of its time, PDF has just been awful in user friendliness.
Loser friendly.
I can confirm this. Adobe Acrobat is like the worst thing ever. It's awful.
Acrobat is still alright. It's the Reader that's.
Oh yeah, the Acrobat Reader DC. Yes, that's true. That's absolutely
try installing a version that works, doesn't give you commercials, and doesn't bother with upgrading for a subscription.
And also another thing, even Office itself for Microsoft, it's really like, I also think they lost the ability to design decent looking Office software because it's absolute garbage.
Just
like
opening a new document.
Yeah.
Takes you to a new screen. You know, like there used to be this small pop-up window that was just basically Windows Explorer, where you chose the folder and the file and click on enter. Now it takes you to a whole new page. Wow. That's an extra step you don't need.
The most horrifying thing about all these Office software upgrades is digital screens, our computer screens have gotten bigger and higher resolution over the decades. And we're using like 10 times the definition we had in the 90s. Yet in the 90s, on those shitty 800 by 600 screens, I had more usable screen space in Office than I do in a modern version.
It's absolutely true. like ribbon is like complete utter garbage, to be honest, because it's like if you want to crop a picture or something, you need to switch the tab and then crap, where's this function
and then,
again?
because I mean, at least in the 2007 or whatever version they changed it in, or was it 10? I don't care. In the first version with the ribbons, they actually were described. You know, this does this, that does that, that used to that used to do that, but now it does this. But in the new version, it's just pictures.
Mm.
And soon we are going to be like Egyptians, just clicking on pictures of feet.
Glyphs, bro.
Yeah,
Let
the
me show you
problem
them.
is even like with the even Office 2010 it's like you still have like those distinct colored icons. You look at the icon, you can still see this icon. You don't really need to like you just have a glance and you pretty much still know where everything is. But like with the recent Office, they are going more and more flat. Like all the icons have the same color, look pretty much the same, and I like it all. And then you really need to like, I noticed at least, if I looked at the PC of some coworkers, that I really need to concentrate to find anything because it's like so hard to see.
Well, at least in each new version, they make the sum icon bigger and bigger.
It's weird. Like the graphical user interface design has went in such a strange direction, from everything being neatly separated with thick, visible lines that were always at least a pixel wide in old systems.
And they were menus. You just clicked on I don't know, insert, and there was 7 new things you can insert.
To now they've removed all the lines. There's no separation between icons, and they've put everything into a flat, formless void, and it's annoying. Although I don't hate the ribbon as a concept, they basically just pulled all the menus and made them visible at once and gave them glyphs.
That's true. The thing you did in text before you now do in pictures, but they took too much space and the text was better.
Well, the idea they went to the divine philosophy called the minimum click, the minimum actions. So they tried to bring the actions down, saying like, okay, moving your mouse to a menu is one action, clicking the menu is another action, finding it in the list is another action, clicking that's another action.
Now you can see all of them at once, and you can just move by intuition.
So they've dropped it down to 2 actions.
Is on the screen, right?
Yeah, but before then you had just one action because everything you actually uses was like on the main screen, and now everything you use is like split across, I don't know, like 5 screens.
There was this arcane feature in the old versions with the text-based menus, where you could just pull one of the things and stick it to the bar.
Custom taskbars.
Indeed.
Is there no custom taskbar in Modern Office?
Well, maybe it is, but the problem is the taskbar is already full of those ribbons. Before you created your own ribbons, if you put it like that.
But back, you always had to go through a bunch of menus to find stuff you didn't use frequently.
But the difference is that the stuff I don't use often, it doesn't really matter. I have 3 clicks, but it doesn't matter because it's like maybe like, I don't know, like once or twice a day I actually need it. Meanwhile, I use the other options like all the time. So I think compared if you have like the most options, you've covered the most options on like you have all the icons spread out with the more options used, the most often you have 1 click. Then if you like 2-3 options that you actually need like 3 clicks, I think the average is kind of way better over there. You have mostly 1 click, and yes, you have 2 clicks, fine. It's no problem for me. But like now I clicked on an image. I actually need to switch the tab to like image editing or something because I need to set the properties of the image in a completely different menu. I mean, completely different tab.
Okay, so you're saying it takes as many actions now. You're still saying it takes less actions than it did on the old system. You're saying now you need to switch tabs instead of just open a menu, which is
I still need to open a menu on top of switching the tab because now it switches to image options, and then I have to actually choose the option that I want actually to be affected. Like for example, cropping. It's extra button in another ribbon interface. Then of course, if I want to edit it further, then I have to right click on the image, and yes, there's another menu.
Sounds like you need to set up yourself a custom ribbon.
I
Stuff you use. Oh,
try to tell it to
I
our key
I
user.
see what they were trying to do, and they're like, okay, if we put everything on the screen, then people just remember where on the screen it is, and then they can just click on the place without trying to find it.
Mm-hmm. That is the idea.
It didn't work.
I mean, I get ribbon kind of from the standpoint when you are on a tablet, for example, because it allows for huge buttons.
This is true.
That's pretty much where
Tablet
everything is
technology
going.
is
Like
limited.
tablet, like some kind of tablet interface where you can touch the icon with the finger. Actually.
Well, they kind of backpedaled on that with Microsoft anyway.
Yeah.
Microsoft
Yeah,
dropped
but it still pretty much looks like some freaking tablet.
They stopped after Windows 8 was such a success with these buttons.
Yeah, no,
Just-
it didn't do well, so they're not. In fact, the whole industry is moving away from tablets again
Yeah.
because people are
Tablets-
literally going back to laptops.
So
They tried
even-
to. I mean,
What?
the sales figures are showing a drop in tablet sales, and laptops are pulling back up again because tablets are shit.
Well, Panboy, even if I had a tablet, they have this magical device.
Mhm.
It's called a stylus, and
Yes.
I can be more precise and quicker with it than with my sausage fingers.
Oh, but Zev, you're forgetting. Half of the market tablets don't support styluses.
This is also true. They also
In fact,
support
yeah,
the
And
sausage
this
fingers.
is why suddenly sales are maybe going down, because people noticed tablets with styluses and actually more proper keyboards are more useful.
Oh
Yes,
my
because
god!
they're laptops that you can also draw
Yeah.
on. They're just
Yeah.
Are you saying that when I press this button, it makes the letter that I want to type? Okay.
because
I-
90% of the
I have to go for
applications
the
weren't
menu.
really. 90% of applications don't really work properly with a tablet, especially if
Yeah.
you've only got sausage fingers to click on your menus.
Yeah. Also,
Pretty much.
everything is greasy.
Mhm.
Like tablet apps are great on phones and that Samsung Note, which is okay. So things that are running Android by default, because everything on Android is made for a big, chunky interface. But because the PC has been around a long time and has so many legacy applications that will never be ported to have a tablet interface, it's not feasible.
Yeah, also another point that is kind of speaking for laptops as opposed to tablets. It's like you got some old games, you want to play them,
Mm.
you just install them if you own them.
But
But
yeah,
the
that's if you're
problem with
running
the
Windows.
tablets is if you use an Android tablet, oh, I feel like playing Doom. Oh, I actually can't unless I purchase the Android version if there's any.
Yes, there probably is. There's a port of Doom for everything, including
Yeah.
Yeah. But have you tried playing a strategy game on anything that's not a PC?
you need the dual interface of keyboard and mouse for a strategy game. It's just a one finger strategy game. Can you imagine it? It's like select those units, go there.
Well, to be fair, and ever since version 4.0 or 4.1 or something, I think 4.0, it actually supports mouse and keyboard natively. So you just plug in a keyboard and it actually.
So they are making it a computer again. Ah.
What, Android? Wait,
Yeah,
Android
Android.
4.0?
Android supports mouse and of course keyboard since ages.
So it's basically a Raspberry now.
Well,
Yeah.
Android
and you
is...
can plug in any USB keyboard
Yeah.
and mouse, even wireless ones, which is amazing. Like I have this Logitech
It's a
wireless
Raspberry.
mouse. Yeah. Of course.
I do actually have a little Android TV box that has a little floating keyboard and mouse, or keyboard, but the controller is kind of like a Wiimote, except actually good. It's responsive and does what you say, and you can use it as a pointer on the screen or a pointer on anything. Actually, it's because it doesn't actually. I don't have any idea how it works. It just works.
I think you didn't have set up the Wii, any Wiimote probably, because like
It's
the
not
Wiimote is actually you need a sensor bar. I think it's very accurate.
It's not
It's
possible
like-
to set up a Wiimote properly.
On the PC. Oh,
Do you know why? I'll explain it to you very simply. If you sit on your couch and calibrate your Wiimote perfectly so that it's actually pointing at the points on the screen you pointed at, which is very hard to do, and you can you can only do it in a handful of games, like the crossbow training game, which lets you calibrate the remote, and that's not even a real game. You can't do it in the Wii menu. You can't do it on the Wii natively. Not on its own. It's impossible. The system doesn't support it. But if you do that and you have it working perfectly so your Wiimote points at the point on the screen you're pointing it at, if you move 3 inches to the left, it won't work anymore. It will still approximate where you're aiming at, but it's going to be 3 inches to the left of what you're pointing at. Because it's only using 2 points of reference. And those points of reference aren't tied to the screen in any way whatsoever. So you're always aiming relative to the sensor bar, and if you move relative to the sensor bar, so does your aim. And considering the fact that you wave your hand around in several inches, maybe even feet, while using the Wii, it is not physically possible for it to be physically accurate.
You're probably going to knock the sensor bar over anyway.
I kind of have the impression that you might have a knock off view or something, because I didn't have any such issues.
And then you didn't pay attention, because it's not possible, not with that configuration of systems. It doesn't matter what you do, you can't actually make the Wiimote point properly. It's a fundamental limitation of the system. Because it's relative to a center bar that's 2 points that have no bearing on the screen size.
I think the actual sensor bar is actually 4 points.
No, it's not.
It's 2 pairs of 2 points. Yeah, it's a pair of 2 points each.
So it's in a diagonal X instead of.
It's not. It doesn't do. If it was, it would be fine. If you had a point at the top left of your screen and bottom right of your screen, you could do it perfectly. You could aim anywhere on your screen, be reliable from any angle. It would work great. But the sensor bar does not do that. The sensor bar sits at the bottom or the top of your screen. It could have 50 points on it. It still wouldn't work.
It's still a bar.
Yes, because it's a physically locked bar. You can only aim relative to the bar. It has no concept of screen space.
At least it should be a square, but then you would have the entire screen covered. Then yeah.
Then again, the Wii remote isn't exactly very useful for things where extremely accurate precision is required.
Actually, it is, which is weird, because I'm so surprised, because we were in school, like when we were doing Abitur, and we had actually some guys from IBM coming, because it was some project or something, project days. They were like coming. They had some kind of homebrew software for the Wiimote, and they just have used how they can make a whiteboard using a Wiimote.
You can. It's very easy. You can do loads of things with Wiimote. It's a great little piece of equipment, but you can't do it by default with the Nintendo Wii. You have to do other things. Like, one thing you could do to increase the Wiimote sensitivity 1,000,000,000% is use 4 points at the corners of your screen. It would solve all the problems I have with the Wiimote. All of them. I mean, it would be perfect. If you just put 4 LEDs on your screen instead of 2 at the bottom, all my problems solved. Instantly, I would have nothing to complain about. Because I understand fundamentally how this equipment works. I have done research on it. I developed my own Wiimote solution as a homebrew project in college. I understand exactly what it does and how it does it. And that's why it's impossible for the Wiimote by default to be relatively accurate. from anywhere other than the exact point you set it up from.
It's a stupid system.
I mean,
Couldn't they make like a hole in each corner of the, like, you know, that would work.
Meanwhile, I'm looking at the YouTube video where a guy calibrates his remote using the Wii U menu.
Like you could take 4 sensors, put like with a sticker, put each of them in a corner of your screen, and problem solved. Maybe.
I'm sure he had very successful times with that back. Also, there was no calibration menu on the Wii originally.
Yes, you can even have like.
You can set the sensor bar at the top or the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, you can also like have the remote sensitivity.
Yeah, sensitivity. That's not calibration at all, because the Wiimote by default acts exactly like a mouse. You move it an inch to the left, and it moves a relative amount on the screen. It doesn't have any idea how big your screen is. So if you were using a 14-inch screen, it would move the same amount of space. Well, no, it would move like an inch on the 14-inch screen, and on a 50-inch screen, it would move 4 inches. You don't if you think it's possible to do what you're describing, then you don't understand how it works.
I am now confused and stopped understanding how it works.
Me too, because it worked for me. I had a lot of fun with Mario Galaxy. I didn't have any issues, even for I definitely was moving around.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you just used it as was intended and didn't have the problem I had with it. The problem being
Well,
the
then
Wii
use it as intended.
You were not trying to fuck with it.
I was just trying to use the Wiimote to aim, which is impossible. Because I wanted
As I
it
just
for
said,
shooting
Okay.
games.
I do not
Mario
get one
Galaxy.
thing now. I do not get one thing now, Panboy. If it's a bar, how does it do vertical direction then?
It really doesn't. That's kind of the problem. It has no concept of vertical space.
But
I think it uses the. I
are
don't know.
vertical.
I think it uses the gyroscope thingy
Oh,
to determine the angle of the Wii. The control.
wait, but,
So I-
but
so
that's
basically-
also very relative, Artrix. Like you can be a short
yeah, it's
person, you can be a tall
relative
person.
to the.
Okay, it's actually very simple. Okay, the Wiimote is a tiny little black and white camera that can only see infrared.
Oh,
The Wii sensor bar is 2 little red LEDs.
yes.
The Wii camera can see these LEDs. When you point your Wiimote at the camera, depending of where those LEDs show on the screen, so if they're near the bottom, it presumes it's aiming high. If they're near the top,
Okay.
it presumes you're aiming low.
Now it makes sense. Yeah.
If you're as long as the 2 LEDs are near the top of the Wiimote, it's going to presume you're aiming as far down the screen as you can, and as long as they're near the bottom, it's going to presume you're aiming as high as you possibly can. So that's the square area it pretends your screen is.
So yeah, so what I was saying, if you put an LED in each corner of the TV, it would work.
But yeah, perfectly.
You can even do it with fucking candles.
You can just buy 2 sensor bars. No, you can't because
Yeah, you can
programming.
actually use 2 candles. Yeah.
Yep,
You-
there are aftermarket sensor bars that are just a bunch of LEDs. It's very low
Yes,
tech
but-
shit.
But can't they be used with the view without having to break in and change everything?
Already.
No, you can use any light source will work for the LEDs, but the problem is it's only ever going to use 2, and it's going to expect them to be at the top or bottom of your
Yes,
screen.
exactly. That's what I was thinking. Like, if you were to use 2 of them, you would have to reprogram view.
You would, yes.
Also, maybe like the issue with the Wii is pretty much what I got used to. It's kind of like drawing on a tablet, where you kind of expect a slight offset. You don't really aim at the screen. You kind of aim that, and you kind of move your cursor until you are where you want to be.
Yes.
Because
That's exactly the problem I have with the Wii U, what you just described.
Wii U.
And see here, not the Wii in general. And also, I have this problem, and I have it so vehemently because I love light gun games. Okay? And light gun games on
Me too,
CRT
but I never played
televisions.
one. I have no friends.
I had all the PlayStation light gun games, and I
Aw.
played them on CRTs, and I calibrated my light gun to be pinpoint accurate.
The only
And
thing I had was Duck Hunt on the NES knockoff.
even Duck Hunt was more accurate in the way the Wii does.
But yeah, the way you describe it, I think I've found the crux of the problem because you're expecting, like you said, you point the control and it.
He's expecting that the thing he's pointing at would be shot when he shoots at it.
Yes.
Whereas the way Beck describes it is it moves relative to the way you're moving the controller.
Yes, which makes it a pointer, like a mouse.
Yeah,
nothing like a gun.
It is a pointer like a mouse and not like a gun. So yeah, I don't think it's even intended to be like gun, even though they're selling accessories that maybe.
Mouse is still better because mouse has physical X and Y axis, or Z. You know what I mean?
They did sell it like a light gun. They made light gun games for it, and then you tried to play them and realized it didn't operate like a light gun.
Yeah, that was stupid. I never liked those.
So
games.
that's why there's the controller extension that makes it into a gun.
Yes. They made a stack of light gun-esque games for the Wii. And I wanted to enjoy it. I wanted to enjoy the Wii, but I picked it up, aimed 12 inches to the left of everything I was shooting at, and realized I can't play those games because I can aim.
I think I noticed that in one of the Metroid games, because it did play a lot like an FPS, and it was like, okay, I'll just aim like this, and no, it didn't quite work the way it was supposed to.
It feels so.
Well, of course, you couldn't aim. You had problems aiming because maybe the games didn't have auto aim on, like most of the FPSs nowadays.
Well, to be fair, I didn't have that much trouble aiming. It was just.
Back. Are you assuming I play games with auto aim? Are you assuming I play first-person shooters on a console?
Yes, because that's pretty much what you implied with light gun games.
There was a GIF of the game that you are not playing, Panboy.
No.
It was a GIF of somebody trying to aim with a controller. There was a space bug, the space bug was running around, and the gun, it was a laser gun. The laser was just closely following the bug because aiming.
Mm-hmm. The secret is, in those old light gun games, there was no auto aim. You had to physically aim a gun at your screen, and you had to hit the enemies.
Okay.
They were. Although all the other FPSs on old consoles had awful amounts of auto aim. Like if you've ever played Duke 3D on a console, it's insane. You walk into a room, hold the trigger, and everything gets shot.
Such as
like
Call of
an
Duty.
aimbot or something.
Yeah, old FPSs were full of aimbot.
Yes.
The controls were so awkward, they didn't even expect you to try to aim.
Because
There was multiplayer back then. Everybody could hacks.
Multiplayer Duke Nukem and Doom was hilarious.
the games were so old that they actually process the inputs of X and Y axis separately. So, yeah. You didn't have much precision when aiming.
Original Doom multiplayer was you walked around the corner and you hoped that you saw the other person first, and then held control while pressing the arrow keys and using the numpad to look around, because there was no mouse control.
Yep, exactly. So in games in which you couldn't look around, you basically had a fixed forward-firing gun. You had to move.
And now you're like thinking, wait, you had to use the arrow keys and the numpad? Wouldn't your hands be all cramped together? Yes, in a lot of old games you couldn't even rebind your controls. They were hard-coded. You couldn't do shit.
You had to learn how to play the game.
Them were the days. It was before the WASD standard.
Yep. There was a time that I particularly liked with settings of keys in video games. They try to give you an on-screen tutorial, but they also try to, display the tutorial in the same sense it was on the configuration screen. So then we ended up with a message of the type, to jump, press the jump key. They're like, which one is this? And then you tried half of the keyboard. Oh, it's not control, it's C.
I'm pretty sure you're getting jump mixed up with crouch.
I don't think there was crouch back then.
I've never understood why anyone would want C as their crouch key. It seems like an awkward button to push while you're using the rest of your hand to do everything else.
I remember the first Rayman. I think either jump was on spacebar, but attack was on alt, and it resulted in you constantly throwing your game back to Windows.
Because you'd hit Windows key.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of games of the keyboard-centric games use Alt and Control, but you're expected to use your right hand, choose right Alt and Control for your jumping and shoot, while your left hand does your maneuvering. Most of these control schemes are intended for two hands,
Oh my god.
Right?
I did have some problems though relearning the controls, because when it was all on arrows, I used my right hand, and then it was VASD, and I had to use my left hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
I can use both now.
Genius. You've become ambidextrous,
Yes.
but only in video games.
Well, it's not like I'm doing much else.
Oh, Nvidia.
I should
Okay,
try using two mouse.
I think I just fixed the outro music crashing program thingamajig.
Oh, that's terrible.
Because Windows even managed to fuck that up, but it works now again. It's amazing.
So, Panboy, are we going to mention the game you are not playing?
I think we already spoke about the game I'm not
yeah,
playing.
I think you
I
guys
mean,
were
more.
talking about it.
More than it just existed.
Oh.
Okay, that's the last topic, and then we're gonna end the episode. So go ahead, once we go.
The fact that it came out 3 days later because they were adding a major patch, because it somehow got leaked, and then some stores in America started selling it before the release date, like a week before the release date. Yes, in the box format.
What I don't understand about that is this game, No Man's Sky, we're talking about. It's a game that requires constant connection to the internet, so your game can update what you've explored and tell other people that you're awesome and you explored this planet.
And named it as.
Exactly. But why were the servers running and accepting connection requests for these 2 weeks beforehand?
Mystery.
Like, why? I mean, maybe beta testers are still on there or something, but, if they found out that the game's been leaked and a bunch of people are selling it, why not just make it impossible to join? Make it, you get connection refused every time you connect. Until the point, like, you wouldn't even have to you wouldn't even have to disable the servers, just set them to reject all connection attempts.
They probably didn't think of that, and then someone put his leaked copy on the internet for, I don't know, it was like $1,600, and somebody actually bought it and then made a review of the game.
Of course they did.
Yeah, and then the company was like, okay, we don't like this. The release is delayed by 3 days while we are making this giant patch.
And I actually think it was more that Sony paid them off to get the PlayStation release first.
That's also, I mean, originally they were supposed to be exclusive. I think it was because their studio flooded and they had to sign their soul. I actually don't understand how they managed to get away with not being exclusive in the end.
It is exclusive. It is PS4 console exclusive. That's what they are saying all the time.
I have it on the PC.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's the logic nowadays because the PC doesn't count as console.
Oh.
Just retired.
You would be surprised. I have seen several queries from websites that are like, select your console. PS4, the other box, PC.
Well,
Yeah, but in this case, the console manufacturers don't see the PC as console.
well, considering mobile gaming is the largest gaming industry, consoles and PC are irrelevant.
Yes, this is true.
The only market that matters is middle-aged old women playing Candy Crush and Farmville.
Esther's
Farmville
Lutire.
Is the Farmville still going?
Of course it is.
Farmville is
Wow.
going to be a thing as long as Facebook is a thing.
Farmville is just a cash farm, literally.
Oh god,
A cash cow. 'Cause of the...
I just had the best idea.
Oh
Poop
god,
that.
here's an idea.
I will make the stupidest possible game. I don't know, like match shapes. Yes, or find two same pictures. I don't know what it's called. And then I'll just put all the microtransactions in there.
Spot the difference. Get hints for €1,000,000.
Exactly, something like that.
Actually,
I would just like to see how many stupid people will actually buy those.
about No Man's Sky, actually, I was a little disappointed with its first run performance. I booted up the game, started to play. It did this whole cinematic-esque introduction to the first level or first planet, and this in this glorious panorama of the area, the frame rate kept diving. I was like,
It's a cinematic experience.
That's because the port is absolute utter garbage.
As it usually. Oh god. With the always online thing, as you said.
Well, I fixed the problem. I went into the settings and I set the frame rate cap from 30 FPS to 160, and that fixed it.
Okay, that's okay. Yeah.
Well,
you didn't recognize that it was a dip because you were running on so high. As you said, it's running constantly on because it has to update all the planets named after genitals, and it's supposedly, according to the developer, not a multiplayer game. It's just a single-player game where you get updated planets, and sometimes there's a very, very tiny fraction of a chance you could meet another person. Well, that happened the first 2 days.
Of course.
It actually happened on the first day.
Oh, even. Okay, it happened on the first day. There was a guy, and he just saw a freshly named planet, so he was like, okay, maybe the dude who named it is still around. I'm going to message him, and we can meet up on the planet. So they had this great plan, so they did that, and they stood on the same spot near a landmark, and they couldn't see each other. So
I guess it has some bugs to iron out, because people meeting each other in online games is always going to be a thing that happens.
Even if it's this tiny fraction of a chance, I mean, especially because it's this tiny fraction of a chance, you should be able to see them, right?
Yeah, people are going to try to make it happen.
Yeah.
I had
Also, I think that is noteworthy is like they actually had to put stickers on they put stickers on the collector's edition cases because they initially produced them with like another age rating and also with online play. So they actually had to put stickers with a new age rating and they removed the online play stickers. So basically, people were peeling off the stickers and they're showing what this originally was.
What, no online play? And 18 plus?
80 plus.
Yeah, it was rated PEGI 12, had online play, of course, like mild violence, and it's now just rated 7 and mild violence. So no online play, so no network play, basically.
Your experiences may vary.
The funny thing is, see, that's the thing. You can't actually rate an online game. It's impossible.
Yeah, that's why they put your experiences may vary.
Yeah, the moment you get onto an online server and you start, murdering the shit out of a 10-year-old, and then he starts calling you all kind of racial slurs. I was like, this is more dirty talk than I've heard in all the porns.
Like, what do you do when a 12-year-old starts shit talking to
you? You
explode. Right? No.
You either tell him to shut up or you just don't care.
Ah.
It's the internet, Astra. You have to not care. Like I actually randomly played some CS:GO the other day, and there was a guy who was just being annoying. Every time he killed someone, or every time he got killed, he called them some variety of noob, and it was just obnoxious. So you just open up the menu and you go to their name in the list and you click mute.
Does it mute for the whole chat or just?
It just mutes that person. Just the person who's being obnoxious.
No, does it mute for the whole everybody, or is it just?
Just me. I don't know click mute. I don't have the power to mute everyone for everyone. If I did, I'd mute the entire internet.
I thought it was something like a private match. Power. Yeah.
I wasn't hosting the game.
Oh.
I was playing CS:GO, which plays on other people's servers. I think they might be owned by a company called Valve.
Maybe.
Never heard of them.
But I'm pretty sure you can play in servers that aren't owned by the company.
Also, talking about internet and dramas and All Man's Sky, there is this very fat person on the internet. He goes by the name Sterling, and he sometimes reviews games.
Sometimes.
Yes, and he also reviewed No Man's Sky, and his verdict was like, it's okay, I guess. It's mediocre, 5 out of 10. And then his site got mysteriously DDoSed.
Oh well.
Yeah.
That seems to be the tactic these days. Oh, a not stellar review. Let's either shit all over them or triple their site.
I don't like him much, but I do commend him for knowing there's more points on the scale than 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Yeah, I'm perfectly honest. I've played the game for an hour. Nothing has really, nothing standing out as special.
Yes, it's an average. 5 out of 10 is average. It's the most average there is.
In fact, a few things stood out as being subpar for indie survival games. I went out to a cave, or not.
This is not an indie survival game.
It doesn't. It should. It should at least have the same mechanics that they do, because I went out and used my laser gun to mine out a big cave, or not cave. There was a giant pillar. A pillar of some kind of ore. I needed the ore, so I mined out the bottom of the pillar completely.
It didn't fall.
And it didn't fall. No, it just stayed there, floating in space. I was like, if I did that in 7 Days to Die, or Space Engineers, or not in Minecraft, it would stay there in Minecraft. But if I did it in like half the survival games out there, that pillar would have fallen and killed me. But no, not in this big, expensive, full price game I just bought.
If it was an indie game, then you could overlook some of the details like that. But if it's a supposed AAA game that's endorsed by Sony, maybe it should be good. And that's why I got 5 out of 10, which is actual 5 out of 10, not it on an outlet. If they would actually want to give it an average rating, they would have to put like 8.5.
Yeah.
And I did read a review on Time. I don't know why Time reviews video games, but it does.
Well, it's Time website, not magazine.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
You have to remember that.
Yeah, this is true. Well, the title was as much as you would expect from games journalism. It was, it's not what you expected. Thank God.
Why? What did people actually expect?
Well, according to the guy who wrote the review, people expected flying with spaceships and shooting each other, and then finding aliens and talking with them and interacting.
Well, there's the
And-
flying
and-
spaceships, and there's shooting, and there's probably aliens.
Yes, but shooting at other people and aliens
Yes.
that don't have 7 prepared dialogue options that are same for everybody because procedural generated. And then he said that the game is not about any of that. The game is about flying in low orbit and admiring the colors that the procedurally generated sun makes on the procedurally generated sky and the procedurally generated terrain.
Well, that's
And-
pointless,
and-
so I'm not going to do any of that.
Then he gave it 4.5 out of 5.
Well, okay, but it has the spaceships, it has the shooting, it has the aliens, and it has the resource gathering. So, you know, I'm not really seeing the problem yet. I haven't gotten deep enough to really understand the game mechanics.
Well, it's you are in the point where you're still discovering, and then when it's still fun, because then you go straight to the exploiting stage, and then you go to the I'm bored stage.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but the
it's
thing
a,
about
it's
this
a
squad,
procedurally generated game, so visit 20 planets, and all the next planets are going to be probably the same.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but the thing about the reviews is it's not just Jim Sterling gave it like a 5 over 10. There are like many publications, like Video Gamer gave it a 6 over 10. Then of course, yeah, The Guardian gave it 4 or 5, but let's not look at Destructoid gave it a destructive 7 out of 10.
Such low 7, my god.
Here's the thing: I didn't buy the game because of any really big hype. I bought the game because I wanted the newest spaceship game.
Yes, that's pretty much the reason. My
I-
problem is all these spaceship games have retarded controls.
And yeah, actually No Man's Sky space controls are a bit weird and floaty. The game doesn't feel like the ship doesn't feel like it has any real mass, and it kind of just immediately reacts to everything.
Oh my. Well,
Also, you can't dive into the ground because it has when you're flying in a planet's atmosphere, you have basically it's got a artificially mandated flight ceiling, or not flight ceiling, but flight floor. The spaceship just won't go lower than say 500 meters. And it's really, really strange when you're flying at a mountain and suddenly your spaceship just go directly up for, you know,
Mhm.
it's weird. It feels wrong, and I don't like it.
It feels, because it is. Also,
What should happen in that situation is I should fly at half the speed of light directly into the side of that mountain.
yeah. Also, if it responds immediately to the controls, that's not how spaceships work. They always have some speed vector on them.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they don't trust us or something like that, even if they're imaginary, like it takes a bit for it to turn. Even Freelancer got it right.
Yeah,
And-
there's
And that
It's-
was a game you could control with a mouse and a spacebar.
Yeah, I'm not particularly impressed by No Man's Sky myself. It's got a lot. There's a lot in there. I haven't seen it all, but my initial impression is it's okay.
Yeah, but is it like 60 euro? Okay.
I don't
I
know
would
yet.
just know.
It hasn't wowed me.
Yeah,
It feels like an indie game. It feels like a Minecraft clone
Yeah,
with spaceships.
because it is an indie game, pretty much.
It's a.
And that's the
from
thing,
what I
like,
know,
with the issues with the PC. Like, people have lots of issues with the PC because it's almost telltale quality of
Ugh.
programming there.
Hmm.
So people are actually having problems, and there's like someone got like a reply on the Steam forums, I would say.
And
Like,
the was problem.
yeah, and then it's like, exactly, someone has a problem, and the answer to the problem is, keep in mind that less than 10 people work their ass off for this game, and the community's attitude is a problem here. This is an indie game.
It's a beta.
Oh,
It's a
no.
beta.
Yeah, so that's the response to him having the problem, and he's asking how to fix it. And yes, then of course the person who complained about having problems replied, confirmed. Changed my attitude, and now the game now launches. No wait, it's still crashing. Damn, I thought for sure this was the solution.
That's a good response. When you drop $60 on a video game, it should fucking work.
Yeah, pretty much. Even I would even say that Assassin's Creed Unity worked better than this.
Yeah, I did say my performance wasn't stellar. It didn't crash. It ran fine, but it was slow. And my computer's no slouch. I have a 970.
With 3 fans?
And 3 fans, yes. And I've got 6 cores of processing power. 6 of them.
From 6 years ago.
The only computers I know of with more processors are my phone.
And AMD processors.
Yes, and AMDs. But no, the game on a system like mine, this game should have ran flawlessly, and I had frame rate issues from the second I started it, which isn't good.
Yeah, I mean, you would think at least that it would run somewhat okay.
I did change settings and it ran better. I turned off a few post-processing options and reduced the texture cache. Also, my graphics card doesn't have as much RAM as it's supposed to, and I have to get onto NVIDIA about that.
Oh, it's only 3.5 instead of
970,
4,
right,
isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what the game is? Like many games these days, when they are sort of, I don't know if it's really unfinished, but shallow as fuck. It's more of a tech demo.
It's
just demo.
Why are games today so shallow?
It's a cash-in on this procedural generation stuff. Procedural generation doesn't need the depth because it has so much artificial content.
Yes, but even non-procedural generated games are shallow. That's the problem. Also, what's the surge of procedural generation? In the 90s, it was everywhere to save power.
It's because people just want to make infinite games.
But that's retarded. Infinite games, no, that's not how it works.
It is.
Unless you push a cash shop in it, and then you just have infinite money.
It also means they don't need to do as much work on story and plot.
Yeah.
But there's only 10 people, Panboy.
Yeah. Right now, this is the infinite Radio Rothingham episode.
Yep. We kind of have to put an end to this because we've been going for almost 2 hours.
Give it the mercy kill.
Jeez.
Well,
This is a long episode.
You should cut off like half of it.
There was a super hyped video game, so we had to talk about that.
Yeah.
Also, we didn't even talk.
Oh, go ahead.
We talked about everything. Now, split it into 2 parts and release it 2 weeks.
I didn't even talk about all this week's terrorism.
Well,
Wait, there was terrorism this week?
Panboy, don't worry. I'm sure some terrorism will speak.
Yes, there was terrorism in Thailand, and there was a bombing in Canada, and there was probably some more terrorism.
It was probably curly.
Okay, well, that's your weekly terrorism recap, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, you've been watching and listening to another retarded episode of Radio Rothingham, least professional podcast on the internet, blah blah blah. Like, subscribe, and whatever. Next week we'll be in France, and we'll be in France the week after that. So we'll try to do an episode during the trip. See if we can actually upload something. I don't know.
It will be coming to you live from a tent.
Yes.
I will not. I will be coming to you live from a Skype in a tent.
You're not gonna be able to upload a fucking video on Wi-Fi. You know that, right?
Well, I don't know. It depends on what sort of quality.
We could combine all of our Wi-Fis.
We'll see.
Wi-Fi combined.
Worst case scenario, we won't be able to upload it until we get back. So yeah. This is our. Let's just say that this long episode is our goodbye for the next 2 weeks. You guys will miss us. I'm pretty sure of that. You're like, 2 weeks without Radio Rothingham. Whatever shall we do?
Well, I gotta play more No Man's Sky. Find more content before I'm in France because I won't be able to play video games for 2 weeks. And if this doesn't run well on my PC, it's not going to run on my Surface at all.
Top tech.
you should take your phone with you and play like Age of Wonders.
My phone does have 8 cores.
Exactly.
So yeah, we'll see what happens in the next 2 weeks. I don't know.
More terrorism probably.
Yeah, that too. But
There's always terrorism. It's become the norm. It used to be rare.
yeah, back in the good old days when it was something special. It's
Well,
so
maybe it's going to
mundane.
work against the terrorists. It will be like, okay, another terrorist attack. Who cares?
Yeah.
Maybe the amount of terrorism doesn't change. We just get more news about it.
No, it's changed.
Yes. Because there's more terrorists.
Well,
Okay.
on such a positive note, we're going to end this episode. So yeah.
Yes, don't
Yes,
forget
bye.
to share
Bye.
and subscribe.
Bye.
And also don't forget to subscribe and like the video.
And dislike it. At the same time.
Okay.
Click both of the buttons.
Support us on Patreon.
Do
Yes.
it now.